And we're live and we're late. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope you're all right. Having some technical difficulties, just a few. Waiting on Larry right now, but I'm not going to hang around for too long. But this is Drawing Bigfoot. I'm Carrie. The host is Daniela. She's going to be she's working with Larry to get him on right now. So probably just a few minutes. I still have work to do, so I'm not going to hang around long. I just want to stop in for a few minutes and thank everyone for the donations for the family. We're up over 2,000 at this point. It's just some of you guys have just been magnificent, and that's not counting what we're putting in. So it's we appreciate. That's open till Wednesday. That'll be the last day, the 15th. What's after this? Tonight, 9 o'clock p.m. I'm going to be on Vault of Nightmares. If you haven't subscribed to Vault of Nightmares, you can go do that. I'll be there talking with Vault about things. I don't know. I might he might want to talk about the encounter. It'll be Bigfoot stuff anyway. So he's a Mississippi guy, so you know, we kind of look out for each other. But Bill is back with us. Of course, Bill had one of the more incredible accounts that I've ever heard. Seeing one of these creatures, or what I think was one of these creatures, in Whitfield Insane Asylum in the late 70s. And just an absolutely incredible account. If you haven't heard it, is it last Wednesdays, Danielle? It is, isn't it?
It was the Wednesday before, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, Wednesday. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Wednesday. Oh, excuse me. But I am. I thought I could talk until Larry made it, but we do apologize for being so late. Just had some technical difficulties. Larry's trying to log in now. We had him here.
We did. I'm trying to log him in again so I can get him on a full screen.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to log him in a different way.
Right.
So I completely forgot that I needed to do that until like 2 minutes before we start. So hopefully won't be too long.
When you concentrate on that, your camera's blurry. It'll like blur in and out.
Yeah,
well, it's not blurry now.
I'll be back in a sec though.
All right, go do your thing.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Carrie.
Yes, sir.
I was telling Daniela, you know, I've been thinking about this a lot. I've dreamed about it, you know, bringing it back. And I remember when I got out of the academy, I asked people that went after me and some that went before me if they went anywhere around a hospital or anything for the field trips, and they all said no. So I don't know if they're just keeping up with what they're told or if they even showed it to him. Remember, I said he said he wasn't supposed to show that to us.
Right.
So I don't know, but oh, there was another from my department that was there with me too. So
and did you talk to him about it after?
Oh yeah, we stand there talking early, you know, right afterwards, and we just, like I said, we put it out of my mind because we was just told what I told you. It was a product of bestiality, and I never connected to Bigfoot. Never even thought about it.
Right.
I was just thinking, I'm glad they got him off to wherever they found him, you know. Dang, I'd hate to met him somewhere.
That's just kind of funny. You're saying this was they said it was a juvenile. How do you think they knew it was a juvenile? I think it had been there for a while.
I don't know. They wouldn't answer the questions. You know, like I asked them, I said, how does he get this big and eating hospital food? They wouldn't tell you. I said, how is his teeth so white? Do you brush his teeth? No. They won't tell you anything. I mean, we had lots of questions. They just wouldn't, you know. The court order is what they had. It wasn't a warrant. It was a court order.
But when you signed, you didn't sign your name, right?
Nope. Well, as far as I knew, I just scribbled. You know, they'll never hold me to that. I don't. It's been 44 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So I'm going to do the best I can in that, but I just keep thinking about it. And what made me really mad was, like I said, they're out there and they just lied to us, and then when I saw it on TV, I think it was Animal Planet where they were showing the show, and it showed where the Florida Department of game warden or whatever, where they sent it to an insane asylum. My son is looking for it now. I talked to him about this today. I said, "You remember that?" He said, "Oh yeah, I never forgot it."
Well, it makes sense to me. If there was anyone in any official capacity back then that was charged with keeping this, this creature under wraps, it's not like they had computers where something gets reported and it comes up, like there's some keyword search you can do. It's all paperwork. So who knows? That thing could have been there for a year before, the powers that be finally found out exactly what it was. Apparently it wasn't animal enough to put in a zoo or caged somewhere else, but
you could put it in jail.
Wasn't normal to be let out into society either.
So what do they do with it?
I don't know. There's so many things. So many things you can extrapolate from this.
Yeah, I have no idea what to do.
Well, just from the possibilities of how it got there, that's one thing.
Yeah, it was hit by a car. It was hit by a car, and that's the same thing it said on that on the news. Said it was a creature was hit by a car, and then later they asked the same game warden and said, "What did they do with it?" And he said, "From what I understand, they sent it to an insane asylum." He didn't say criminal; he just said insane asylum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be the same one. If it's not, it'd be one heck of a coincidence.
And Whitfield was pretty popular back in the day. It's closed down now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like I said, my uncle was in it for 3 or 4 years. He was there. There was a guy, I was 10 years old, and I watched this happen. A guy had escaped from there and had gone where we lived. My aunt lived down the road, like around the corner, and on the corner at the cross. Well, this man comes, he's dressed, he's got these bands on his arm, he's in a gown, and he's trying to get into the house. Well, she calls my dad. So my dad's home. My dad goes down there. My dad was a pretty good sized fella. I mean, I'm 6'4", about 238 right now. But my dad had big, huge arms. He was just a big guy. He goes down there to see what's going on, and this man gets in there, gets a butcher knife, and when I'm watching from the yard, I can see him. My dad's backing up around the car, and this guy's got a butcher knife in his hand, and he's trying to get to my dad. Well, he ends up cutting my dad on his nipple, and he finally subdued him and got him to the ground, and it was crazy. And this was 1984. Yeah. 83, 84. That happened. So, but he had escaped from Whitfield, and we didn't live very far from there, 30 miles.
That's the same place, is it? That this Sasquatch was at? That's a crazy coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know how somebody get out of there. I'm telling you something.
Well,
Sasquatch ripped the door off.
Like I said, my uncle was in there for whatever. He had gotten fried on some kind of drug. I don't know what it was, but it messed him up for a long time. I'm assuming it was some kind of LSD or something. But he pounded the streets with a Bible for the rest of the time until he died. For better than 20 years, he did that, which there are worse things you can do, obviously. But all right, if we're going to get started, let's get started. I'm going to back out. I want to thank everybody again for your extreme generosity. So you guys are just incredible. So thank you all so very much. I'm going to go. Hopefully I'll see you guys at Vault of Nightmares at 9:00 Central. I'll be over there with them. So y'all have a good show. I'll be listening.
Thank you.
Okay. See you soon. So finally we've got it all. We've got Larry back. And don't know, I keep going blurry.
I hate computers.
Yeah, well, It was simple in the end, wasn't it? It always is.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So
I
we
look
got
like
that
an
sorted
idiot.
out. It's okay. It's all
I
right.
am. I think I am anyway.
Just have to press the on button and it'll work.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill, I guess I guess most people know about your encounter. Anybody who listened, I'm sure you've just gone over a little bit with it with Kerry. So should we get straight into the drawing? I don't know. Did you go over the story again, Bill? Do you want to take us over it a little bit again, or did you just go over it because I was out of the studio?
Yeah, I could tell you.
I haven't heard it.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll do it in a. You don't. Let's kind of make it brief in a sense that make it
Okay.
quite brief, and then we'll get drawing, and then we'll go into more detail about it because it takes Larry. Needs a bit of time to get this drawing going. So the quicker we get into it, the better, and then we can go into much more detail as Larry's doing the drawing.
Okay. Well, in a law enforcement academy, we was sent to Whitfield Criminally Insane Asylum, middle 70s. And while we were in there, they, as a class, like a field trip, and almost at the end of it, he told us he wanted to show us one of their patients, as you'd call it. Daniel, remember last time you said we never mentioned any women nurses or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they never let us see the women that were in there. They were in a whole different part, and they would not let us see them.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that.
So I don't know if they had women nurses there, or I don't know. They're really guards, but they call them nurses because the hospital was. Anyway, he starts telling us about the court order for him to be put in there, and it was from Florida, and it had to be watched 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they said it was a juvenile, whatever it was. They wouldn't go any more detail. They wanted us to go up 3 at a time to the cell door, which was, they built it behind the nurses' station so they could watch it 24 hours. And I was one of the first ones up there. When I saw it, there was 3 of us. It was leaned over on a cot, and it pulled his arms in, his legs in, and got down in like a ball trying to hide from you. That's the only way to put it. It just felt like he was trying to hide. So I talked to him several times, and finally I whistled at him. Then I whistled really loud, and that's when he stood up and turned sideways. And just like Carrie, I thought it was a black guy, just a really hairy black guy.
Mm-hmm. And
then he started coming over to the cell door. And the cell door had chicken wire, heavy duty chicken wire, black, really, custom made, I guess. But anyway, he just took little steps over there as if he's trying to sneak up on you. That's another feeling I got that I've remembered since then. He was trying to sneak up on us. And we're standing there talking to him. I was anyway. And he gets up and he's just growling, just a really, really low growl. They just go right through you.
Mm.
And I'm sorry.
Well, I guess it's still got its own instincts, hasn't it? The way it acts and reacts to things. So, and you now, I know it's been a long time since it happened and you've not discussed it. And so I guess lots of things have come back to you.
Yeah.
Maybe over the last couple of weeks. Now you opened it up again.
I've even called some of my friends back and talked to them about it, see if they was able to see it. I just never talked to them. When we left there, we just forgot about it because we trusted what they said. He was just a product of bestiality.
Mm.
And it's not, because every picture since I've started this, I've been looking at picture after picture after picture. And the drawing that Larry did for Carrie, It was so close. I told Carrie, I said, we could do this quick because there's only a few differences. The only one main difference is this one is younger. You could tell it. They told us it was a juvenile, but it was so close. But anyway, he walked up really slow, little steps, even looking the other way while he's walking towards us. Gives you a feeling like he's trying to sneak up on you. So he gets to the door and he's standing, he's just growling. I'm talking to him, trying to get him to, all he could do was just growl at you and just look at you like he wanted to kill you. I mean, we didn't get too close because he just looked strong enough to reach through that chicken wire. I mean, the bars was really heavy duty. I was a jailer for several years, and these are the biggest bars I'd ever seen.
You can't even imagine, can you, what it's thinking, you know, to be caught there.
Yeah.
I mean, just
they didn't have nowhere to put him.
out of its mind.
They couldn't put him in jail. They couldn't put him in a zoo because, you know, the cat would be out of the bag then. And which I think that's what they should have done to start with, acknowledge him. But
it's very, very shady, isn't it?
Yeah.
What people have been told, what people think they know, what people have been told to repeat to other people. I mean, we've just got no idea, have we? What this thing is, what it's a product of. Are you all right, Larry? Are you just getting yourself sorted there? Well, we'll wait for you till you're ready.
No.
Oh, he's ready now.
I think he's listening.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah, he's listening.
So anyway, there was about 30 in the class, and there was 3 in the class, 3 females, and he made them wait for last. And everybody go up there, and most people go up there and just look at him. They'd back off, especially when he growled. They just come back. And they was told not to say anything to anybody else because they wanted everybody to just look at it for the first time without knowing anything about what's up there. And they were the girls for last. Well, they get up there, and he just went,
Crazy.
He went crazy in a crazy asylum. But anyway, and they all passed out just right then. All 3 of them just passed out.
Wow.
And then while they're trying to get them, I'm standing there. I went back up there, and I'm standing there trying to talk to him, tell him, calm down, buddy.
It must have been a shock for them.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't know what to expect. They heard him growling.
But what was going through your head? I mean, how are you processing it?
Well, they didn't tell us he was a product of bestiality till after we saw it. After everything was over, that's when they told us that. So I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was a werewolf.
Right. And prior to this, you didn't know about Bigfoot, or you hadn't thought about it?
No, I had seen a movie called Fog Monster, but it didn't look anything like that. It was just looked like a gob of hair standing. That's all that looked like. So I didn't relate it. And then afterwards, when they told us what they said, that he was a product of bestiality. And so I just forgot about it when I left. I was just glad they got him off the street or wherever he was at.
Yeah.
Just lied to us. They knew what it was. He was hit by a car in Florida. And they put him there. They couldn't put him in a zoo. They couldn't put him in jail. So that's where they put him. I don't know how long he was there before I saw it. I don't know how long he was there after I saw it. I have no idea.
Things were a lot different back then as well, weren't they? I mean,
I don't think they had any idea of.
And we didn't really, you know, you were told what you were told. Like now you've got internet and Google, you can find an answer to everything. But before the days of internet, you had to look at an encyclopedia or ask somebody who might know someone who knows something about, you know, something you wanted to know about. So I guess we just took information and accepted it,
right,
you know, a lot quicker back then, because you relied on the person. You know, you trust people, don't you? Especially someone who's working in an asylum.
Yeah, insane asylum. It's a hospital, you know. We just trusted because I didn't, at that time, I had not seen the Patterson-Gimlin video. And everything I ever heard of, whatever, if Bigfoot was all up in the Northwest. So
imagine if you had seen it. Imagine if you had seen it, that footage before you saw that thing. That would have been interesting. Completely different conversation now.
Yeah, but when it showed on TV on the Animal Planet talking about the Florida Department of Natural Resources, or whatever it is, the game warden, that one had been hit by a car and he was sent to an insane asylum. And I said, I know that guy. And that had to be it. I mean, there was no other explanation for that. No. And then I started really looking up and on the internet, and so yeah, I was really just completely pissed off because and they're standing here calling people like Carrie and all these people that have these encounters. A lot of people have been missing from it, and they just lie to you because they don't care.
No, it's definitely something wrong, isn't there? And people should be aware. But that's what we're trying to do, you know, with Bigfoot Odyssey is make people more aware. Look, let's get into this drawing. I'm going to put Larry on. How do I do this? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done this, Larry. So there we go.
Okay.
There we go. So I'll let Larry guide you, Bill, through the description, and we'll just take it from there.
What was the shape of the top of his head?
It was the same. I was telling Carrie.
Yeah.
The one that you drew for him.
Yes.
It was so close. It's not funny. There's only a few little differences to it. I mean, you could tell he was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not have lied about that, but they said he was a juvenile. But there's only a few little differences, like his brow ridge, I think they call it.
Yes.
Was thick in the middle of his head. Then as it went out towards on each side of the eye, it got thinner and thinner and thinner and went around the eye a little bit.
Okay.
Well, let's start at the top anyway, and we'll see how much it resembles Kerry's towards the end.
I mean, it was so close. I was sitting there having a flashback. Maybe they did let him go.
Oh, can you see that, Bill?
I can see your paper.
Oh.
It'll get darker in a bit. You've no light. That's a bit better, yeah.
How's that?
I can see it looks okay.
It looks like it's up.
Yeah, where would you want to start now? The brow ridge or the hair?
Or? We're going to do the brow ridge.
So are you happy with the shape of that head, Bill? Is that the shape of its head?
Well, it's just like Carrie's, but with the hair, it went up to a point, apex.
So it's more of an apex then.
Yeah. It was just like pretty much like that.
I know. I think he's drawn. It was last year when he drew Kerry's. So we're relying on you for the description, if you don't mind.
I don't remember.
As you saw it.
I guarantee you, I remember it.
Yeah.
Because it was so close.
Okay. So how far should I go down for the brow ridge? Just watch my pencil and tell me when to stop.
Well, down a little bit further, about right there.
Okay.
It was thick in the middle.
Yeah.
And as it goes out towards the eyes, it gets thinner, thinner, thinner.
It wasn't last year, actually. It was last April. But it was April, but that still feels like a year away.
Yeah, I know.
Where the year's going.
Well, I have Parkinson's, so my memory's not really good. Is that thick enough?
Is it I can't hardly see it. It's thick in the middle, you know, and it gets thinner, thinner, thinner. I mean, it got really noticeably thinner as it went like from the middle of the eye to the right, to the left.
Right.
Can you see that better? Let me put
Yeah.
Larry on. Can you see that better, Bill, like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That it?
Yeah, but it was a little bit thinner on each side. I mean, it was really noticeable. Like they said, he was a juvenile. It's a possibility, but all I can tell you is what I saw.
So thick in the middle and thin at the sides, Larry.
Yeah.
You've gone a little bit blurry. Hopefully it'll come back.
Oh.
Mm,
There it goes.
there we go.
Okay.
And the eyes. How's the brow ridge?
Well, that's better. It's not really as thin as it should be, but it shows you an idea that it's getting thinner on each side. It's not like just a straight.
So the underneath goes thinner as well, does it?
I think he's got it.
Is that getting it there?
Like that?
Right.
That it?
And the eyes were deep set,
Mm-hmm.
dark, and just black.
Okay.
Just
Big.
big eyes, really big eyes.
That big?
Yeah. About golf ball size. I guess that'd be it.
Yeah.
Were they round or more like that tear shape? Whatever.
No, they were round.
They were round. Okay.
Yeah, they were round.
They weren't like a human eye then.
Well, they're not they're not like a human eye.
Okay.
They were just round.
Yeah, they're an oval.
Like that.
Yeah.
Big enough?
Well, it looks kind of close because they were wide apart. I mean, they were wide.
Okay. Don't worry about telling Larry, you know, if it's not right, because he really wants to get it as accurate as he can. And he can always erase.
Yeah, that's why they make erasers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like that?
Yeah.
How about that?
That looks good.
Good. Okay, what about the nose?
All right. It was pretty much the same. It come down and was kind of flat.
Like that?
Yeah, wide, flat.
Like that?
Yeah. It would be bigger at where the hood and all is right there.
Yeah.
It was like pushed in. It looked like somebody pushed it in or something. That's how flat it looked.
Okay. Big nostrils?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't see them, but because it was hooded, you could, if he leaned back, you could see it, but
Oh, okay. I got you.
it was big. This thing was so big.
Okay, is that about the size of the nose?
It looks about right. Yeah.
Damn, I'm doing good tonight. Oh, the swerve jar.
Oh,
Okay. It had those big cheeks.
Wasn't as big as the ones. Well, he
Oh,
had
you did.
cheeks. You could tell it was like an American Indian style cheeks,
Yeah. Okay.
but it wasn't as big as one Carrie had because this is a juvenile. He's a teenager.
Okay.
I mean, they could only assume that, can't they?
I don't know. That's what they told us.
Yeah.
That's enough cheeks in. Can you see that?
Yeah. That looks good.
Okay, the mouth.
It was a little bit. It had a little bit more distance between the nose and the top lip than what Carrie's had. It had a little bit more room between the nose.
About right here?
Maybe, yeah.
Straight across, or?
Well, you could tell it was lips, but it was mostly like
Were they thick lips, thin?
not really thick, no. But the bottom lip looked thicker, but when he finally opened his mouth, you could see his teeth. That's one of the main things, but it just looked like human teeth, but they were really white.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any gaps in them, but you know, it just looked like a regular human's teeth.
No sharp teeth like fangs or anything like
Yeah.
that.
It had canines, but just like ours is,
Yeah.
you know, ours is like an eighth of an inch longer than the other teeth. So it's not something you'd see on a wolf or something.
Okay. All right. The chin.
It wasn't as pointed. It was a good chin, but it wasn't pointed. It was rounded.
Was it long?
It was pretty long, but it wasn't sharp. It wasn't a sharp feature.
Like that?
Something like that. When he most time he had his mouth just barely open, so
Okay, well, that's how we'll draw him.
okay.
Yeah.
The head though, that's not quite right, is it? It was more of an apex, wasn't it?
Right.
It wasn't rounded.
Well, when I put in the hair.
Okay, got you.
When you put the hair in, that'll distinguish that.
Okay, let's do the side of his face. Anything distinctive to, curve straight down?
It's like it went around because his hair, when it came off his head, it went around the side of his face. He didn't have any hair on his face, not above his lip, not even on his
Chin.
right below his lower lip. It just come around the side of his face.
Okay.
Could we just get the location again as well, Bill? I can't remember the name of the hospital.
Whitfield.
Whitfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would that be accurate for the side of his face?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that accurate for the side of his face?
It looked more rounded. It looked like it would round a little bit. There you go. Not like that.
Okay.
Then you can see the hair on it when it come around.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah.
That's good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Trying to think if the mouth is wide enough because he had a wide mouth.
Well, we'll get down to that. Keep thinking about it. Because we're going to do his eye real quick. Eyes.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll have Mark joining us soon, Larry's son. I'm just trying to find a picture of the one that Larry did for Kerry. I know Kerry drew his own as well, his own version of it a while ago. But I'll see if I get this one up.
Yeah, it was really close. I'm telling you, you did a great job on that one. It just right when I saw it, it just flashback hit me.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I can only imagine. Where am I? Well, actually, here I think I've got a selection of, for anyone who's new to the channel and hasn't seen Drawing Bigfoot, these are some of the images that Larry's drawn from witness descriptions. Not that one, I don't believe.
Well,
No.
like Carrie said, there's just like people. They're different.
Hmm.
I mean, they got different personalities and.
Well, any animal does, really, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
most
Yes.
animals have personalities.
But they look different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one looks really human.
Oh yeah. When we were standing there, he was telling us he was a, bestiality. So I said, he's part human and he's part animal. And he said, yeah. I said, so he's a humano.
It's just such a mystery, isn't it? That needs to be uncovered and talked about and admitted. This is obviously something out there, and it's just not fair on people
No.
who are experiencing it and not having any answers. It's just the eyes good. So you've talked to no one about this then, Bill, really, since it happened?
I didn't even tell my brother. He was mad at me the other day. I told him about it, and he said, why didn't you tell me? I said, why? Well, I give you nightmares about something that was only one of that they know of. So, no idea. So I didn't tell anybody. I told my two sons about 25, 30 years ago. They asked me what was the craziest thing I ever did or saw in law enforcement, so I told them.
And how did they react?
Well, I just told them what I was told. It was just a product of the, and they said, well, okay. I said, don't even think about it because that was just one of a kind.
I wonder if, if they ever, do they hunt, your sons?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if, if ever they come across something that they'd tell you.
They said they've never, mostly fish, but they hunt, but never seen anything. I've never seen anything. Knowingly saw something like this. I had that one little situation in my yard, but, I couldn't see it. All I saw was a shadow.
That's the interesting thing is people can be hunting for years and years and years and never hiking and never ever see it. And some person can go out for the first time and bump into one of these things. You know, there's just no kind of, you know, rhyme or reason. There doesn't seem to be.
Like that guy Donnie. It
Mm.
was on him so fast, and it was trying to goad him into a fight or to do something. That's all it sounded like to me. He was trying to get him into a fight. It was right there at him, and his girlfriend had a car down the road. If she had
Yes.
blew the horn, he don't know what would have happened.
Mm.
And so you
Yeah.
go out there, you don't know these things are there, and
This is
and
a
then
thing,
you
isn't
stand
it?
there. Mhm.
Hi, Addy. The first one, the blue eyes. I think you're saying you would like a print. You can absolutely have a print. Larry is, you know, will sell any of those images that he's drawn. I'm actually going to put this down here because Larry, as you know, has got a lot of animals that he's looking after, his wildlife. And if you want to donate to help him feed his clan, then there's a ticker down there now with his email address. If you want to donate something to PayPal, if you want one of the images, I'll put them up in a minute. The images that we've got that Larry's drawn, and of course he did Patty, a really really good drawing of Patty. And your wife has been busy.
She's
Isn't she?
always busy. She
always
never
busy.
quits. But she has done these really cool little Sasquatch ceramics. There you go.
There's a Sasquatch and there's a Yeti. These are like Christmas ornaments. If anyone's interested in these, I think they're really cute. Get in touch with Larry. His email's there at the bottom. And they're all individual. They'll all be individual, nice little pieces of artwork there.
How's it looking, Bill?
It's looking good, but the whole time he was growling. His nose had the crinkles up where he was. You know how somebody looks when they're growling, or you know the nose get crinkly.
Yeah.
His face, he was just the entire time until the women went up to there, and you know he went nuts.
Well, that's typical primate behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for them to do that like that. I had a friend that had a chimp. He was a trainer, and when he got married, he had to get rid of it because it wanted to kill his wife.
Yeah, they're not to be messed around with. I mean, the strength that they've got is incredible.
Oh, people have no idea. These things too.
Face off, won't they? Yeah, Strangelands, you've got the original, haven't you? The drawing of Patty in a nice frame now.
Now, see, that's why Kerry said he thought the guy that he saw, he thought it was a black guy with sunglasses coming on because his eyes were so black. It almost looks like he got sunglasses on.
Yeah, I have a lot of people describing really black eyes.
And they say I haven't seen one in the dark or with a light on it, you know, like that. It was just in the hospital. I didn't see any red in his eyes. Red, orange, burnt, or something where they describe it.
No. That's interesting, isn't it? That, I mean, that must be something at night with the light or the moon. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? This eye shine that people see. Leanne Kennedy's asking, what floor was it kept on? Were you on the ground floor? Was there different levels?
We went if you saw the hospital, it was big hospital. You know, we was just being led around by him, and it was on different elevators. We went in different halls. They had some that okay, this is a hall. You'd go in this door, and there was a door on each side of this big hall, and they were locked. And on each side, inside that hallway, was cell doors. And they would put us in there, and they open the doors and let those people come out and talk to us.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, this guy's killed like 6, 7 people, and he was the one that went up to everybody in it was like 20 different police departments, and he went up to each one of them, telling them he used to work for their police department.
Is the nose wide enough?
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, okay. How about this part?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. Blake Burrows says, I've been into this subject matter for 20, 30 years, and I've to admit Bill's story is the most compelling and interesting stories I've ever heard. Same here. I mean, you just, don't hear about stuff like this for one.
Well, that's the reason they had him there, because they didn't want anybody to know about it.
And this guy who showed you obviously was showing off.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no reason for you to see that, but he wanted to show you.
When he told us it was what they tried to tell us it was, we just believed it, and I didn't even think about it anymore.
You never know. Yes, someone might come forward now. Might have heard your account, and someone else might come forward and tell us something new.
Well, there was a lot of people saw it, so it's not just me. I mean, there's a lot of people that know that was there.
Yeah. And the likelihood of being believed if you're not in an environment where people know about this thing or talk about this thing, who do they go to? Who would they discuss it with?
Big Brother.
Yeah. Ash T asks, I'm new to all of this. Did it affect your outdoor activities when you realized what you'd seen?
No. Like I said, I just left it there because they said it was just a one-of-a-kind bestiality, So I didn't think about it again. I went hunting, fishing, never thought about it. Just never thought about it until I saw about the where they had hit one in a car, and then I started looking it up, and I saying, I know that guy. I know where he's at too. They talked to the game warden, that not just at the site where it was hit by a car, but after a while later, they asked him what happened to it, and they said he said on the show that he was sent to an insane asylum.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, who else could handle it?
That's what I'm saying.
Who else could handle something like that if they had it in captivity? People these people that work at the place, they're used to dealing with danger all the time.
I mean, they handled people in there was just psychopath killers that kill anything that moves. They knew how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing looked like this thing looked like it could take that door off it there. And it was only a little over 6'4", 6'5" in that area. And it was a juvenile. So I don't know how long it was there after, because he was so wide in his arms and his legs. And I was thinking, how can he get this big on hospital food? He had a V shape, but you couldn't see any abs because of the hair.
Is the mouth wide enough, do you think, Bill?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
I just stepped away though. Have you mentioned how tall he was?
Yeah.
He was a little bit taller than me. I'm 6'3", so he was a little bit taller than me.
Oh,
and but But like I said, he just looked. It's hard to explain this, but he did look young. And when they told us he was juvenile, I'm thinking. See, and like I said, I don't know how big he was when he was hit by the car. I don't know how long he'd been there. I don't know how long he was there afterwards. But if you think about the people back then in Florida and in Mississippi and what, you don't know. They didn't know what to do.
No.
But they knew they couldn't put him in public. They couldn't put him in jail. They couldn't put him in a zoo because they didn't want people to know about him.
Yes.
Having something like that you're setting yourself up for something bad to happen.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, and it'd be like a preschooler working with a full-grown tiger.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same idea.
I mean, they didn't know. How do they know how much tranquilizer it takes?
They don't.
So they could go in there and clean his cell and everything. They said they could never keep him to have him. He would never keep clothes on him, and they would have to make him go night, is what they said. Which means to me they put him out, probably tranquilize him or whatever. But I still wouldn't want to trust that. If you've seen him, I mean, look like you're having one hand, you're gone.
They probably put something like Thorazine in his drinks.
Or food or something.
Yeah, that's probably how they did it.
And they're so smart, from what I understand, they could fake it.
Oh yeah, that's no problem.
They could just fake it, act like, and then when you get in there, boom.
Chimp will do that in captivity. Okay, how's that lower jaw look?
It's good.
Sandy, he was on a couple of weeks ago on Bigfoot Odyssey. So go to not this Wednesday, last Wednesday's episode we did. It was a Wednesday, wasn't it, Bill? Or was it a Sunday?
Yeah, December 1st, I think.
It was okay.
Well, under the eyes, it looked like an American Indian. It wasn't, the shape. It's hard to explain that.
More structure.
A little bit more structure. It wasn't as big as Carrie's was, but it was.
Okay.
The jowls didn't seem as big as that, but it was still. He looked like an Indian, and they know more about him than anybody.
Yeah. A lot of history about them, don't they?
Yeah. Every tribe in the United States has a word for them. And even though they never talked to each other, well, some of them did, but they knew what it was.
Is that more accurate? Is that better?
Uh-huh.
Get them out, Katie. Get your questions out. If anyone's got any questions, put them in caps for me, will you? And I'll put them to Bill or to Larry. Katie G, this is silent. Did they build the cell for this creature?
Yeah, they had to custom build it. They had to watch them 24/7. And so they just built it onto the back of the nurse's station. That way they would say, well, there's always somebody here, so they could conform to the court order. They know it was there.
This story, Diane Kennedy's story, reminds me of Frankenstein. You can't imagine really what was going on with this thing. And for it to be sat on a cot, that's like, must be used to its environment, to be eating off a tray or to having food handed to it. I mean, I don't know. It's just such a crazy situation.
They're so intelligent. It wouldn't take them long to learn all that stuff.
Right. Okay.
Because our baboon will drink with a straw. I mean,
Right.
leave the straw in the cup.
Wow.
And you think
Well,
about that.
Yeah, so it would just pick up the whatever's going on.
Yeah, I learn it real quick. I sat in front of a chimp one time. That sounds funny. And I just went with my lips, and it would steady be doing that. And within 10 minutes, it was doing it. Never did it before.
Wow. It shows you.
I don't think these things are gorillas or chimps,
Nope,
and it's
they're
not
not.
human. They're just their own
Thing.
people. That's all the thing I can tell you. They're their own people. I mean, they're one of a kind. They hunt together. One of them will stand out and put himself so he can be seen while 4 or 5 more are around you.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
I've been listening to that. It's getting, and they
And
throw these big odors.
you'd think with your line of work, you've never ever heard a report or anything remotely close to someone seeing a Bigfoot.
Nope, never heard of the Patterson Gimlin till a lot later, and I was told it was up in South Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, and didn't think about it, didn't connect it. Saw the Fault Monster movie, and it didn't look nothing like, it just looked like a big somebody with just hair all over it, and that was it. You didn't see anything, face, anything. Didn't look like I had the head like that. It didn't look anything like it.
I'm seeing a bit of resemblance now to Kerry's.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it.
How's it looking?
Well, it looks more to a point, but it's kind of, I don't think it was quite that high. It's just, now that you get the brow ridge and the eyes, you can tell it more, but it looked more to a pointed shape. But you could probably do that with hair, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah. And then it comes around the side of his face.
Yeah.
And the ears did look small for that head. What I did see, because I was right there, I wasn't 3 feet from him. So
Could you see the ears when you look dead on at him, though?
when he was moving back and forth, when those girls went up there, you could see it a little bit. It was hair.
Okay.
But what I did see, it looked small for that head.
Fascinating seeing the different descriptions of these, how they differ, which isn't a surprise really, but I like the fact that we're getting them on paper now. These descriptions, rather than just words, we can actually see what people are seeing by doing this.
Yeah, we tried. We asked him about, is there any way you get a picture of it? He said he read the court order to us. No pictures, no drawings, nothing was allowed. Now that was rules for the hospital. No drawings, no nothing.
Should I be looking out my window now?
Window. So maybe this answers this, Katie Anderson. Since he had a court order, I wonder if there's a paper trail that is a public record.
Well, when you get the government involved, but there's people that saw it. I mean, I don't know how many, but I know a lot of people that work there, and they had to come up like they did us. I believe you're right, Daniela, that he was just showing it off to us.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been doing that. I guess that court order covered the whole of the asylum, and you actually going in there and wouldn't be allowed to take pictures or stuff like that, no matter what you've seen. So even if there was a court order, I bet it didn't say, and don't mention anything about the Sasquatch at the end of it.
Well, each patient is in there has a court order,
Right.
so they're all different, So
did anybody quit after they seen him, Jackie Myers Lowham?
No, there was people had trouble sleeping. Some of the people, yeah, when we went back to academy, people couldn't hardly eat, especially the girls. They just,
Yeah, must have really messed them up to see something like that. I mean, that's, you know.
I mean, he didn't do that to anybody but them. He just went. I mean, you know, something that's meant to supposed to be outdoors, and you lock him up in a cell like that. That's just.
Oh, it's cruel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just cruel. Coin 777 or coin, yeah. We're working on something. It won't be a calendar for this year, but we're working on something. And hello.
Howdy.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. This is Mark's, Larry's son, for anyone who's new to the channel and drawing Bigfoot.
Hi, everybody.
You
I
made
thought
it.
that was David Gore.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Looks like we're well into this.
Oh yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah.
You've missed the whole story though.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back, but
In a
This
nutshell, this was locked up in a cell in an insane asylum.
oh,
And
wow.
Bill was given a tour of the place and was shown this thing.
Whereabouts?
Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
It was from Florida. It was hit by a car, and
How's that top of its head now?
well, it's good. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's been over 40. It's over 40, about 44 years, I think, since I saw it. But you know, it's still when you did that one of Carrie's, it looked just like it, just looked older.
Wow.
It does
This
look
one was
similar
young.
to Carrie's. I'm going to get them both together when Larry sends me it. I'm going to put them both together to show people.
And it was younger?
Yeah, it was a juvenile, they said.
Wow.
And he was, I'm telling you, he was over 4 feet wide and a V shape. We thought they're starving him to death. We didn't know. But
Wow. And the people that showed you, they knew exactly what they knew what they had?
no, I think they was told the same as we were told. It was a product of bestiality. So I never thought anything about it after I left there.
Wow.
So
And you're thinking this is maybe just a one-off thing.
yeah,
They've just got it caught there. You're right, Mr. Lee 3PO. It is the stuff of nightmares. Just to see something like this, no idea how I'd react. Especially back then, like I say, there was less information out there about stuff.
Yeah, the internet wasn't around.
Google wasn't, your friend then. So you just kind of accepted things, didn't you? Or you just did.
that's all you can do. I mean,
Yeah. Wow. So that's something to carry around for 40 years. Have you talked much about it besides
I told my sons about it back when they were teenagers. And because, like I said, they want to know the craziest thing I ever saw in law enforcement, and I told them. But like I said, I told them the same thing I was told. It was considered a product of bestiality. You know what that is, and didn't think anything else about it.
Wow.
Then I started seeing pictures and saw the video about the one that was hit by a car, because they said it was hit by a car, and it was sent to an insane asylum.
Wow. because they probably couldn't communicate with it, so they just figured it was a mentally ill.
Well, yeah, you couldn't put it in jail and you couldn't put it in a zoo because they didn't want anybody to know anything about them. So where can you put something to lock it up and not let anybody know about it? I mean, it's not access to the public.
But you're right, Mark. Back then, anybody with anything people were locked up in asylums for things that maybe were medical issues, not because you were mentally insane, but for a variety of reasons that just don't even come under that people didn't understand. And so that must have been such a crazy place. All those places back then. I don't mean to use the term crazy, but it just would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
The mix of people there with different conditions.
I call it a dumping ground.
Yeah, dumping ground. That's a good way to put it, especially at the time. Yeah, experiment on them, and wow, Bill. And what was the nature of the tour? Were you was it a one-off tour, or did you ever go back? Or
no, that was just with the State Patrol Academy.
Gotcha. And how many people was there anybody else with you at that time? Like that?
Oh yeah, there was a whole class. It was around 25 to 30. I can't remember exactly. There was, from all over Mississippi.
Wow. So you all had that experience.
Oh yeah.
I mean, interesting.
Imagine it now, could you?
How's it looking, Bill?
No,
It's there. It's like I said, it looked like a younger version of Carrie's. That's what he looks like.
Did it make any noise? Did it have any did it make any noises or anything when?
Oh my God. When I first went up, they let us go 3 at a time up there, and it would growl, and it was so deep, and it would just go through you. The only thing I can akin it to is a tiger, not a lion, not a cheetah. It sounded like a tiger. They have that infrasound, something that they said they could actually freeze their prey by that sound, and it would just go right through you.
And he had normal looking human teeth. He had normal looking teeth, regular canine.
Just like no different, just like a little bit longer than the others. But he was mad the whole time. He had his nose was crunched up, and you could just tell he was just
not happy.
He was mad at the people that ran the place, and because you take a wild animal, put them in something like that, especially something that's supposed to be as intelligent as that supposed to be.
Let me ask you this, Bill. It's kind of a weird question, but did they put like a typical inmate garb on them, like clothes?
They said they tried. They couldn't keep it on them.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Wow. It's interesting to know what happened for the next however many years.
Well, it's still in operation, apparently. The place is still open. I mean,
it is?
No, it closed.
Oh, it's closed, is it?
Carrie checked it out. It's already been closed. I didn't know that. I hadn't checked on it or anything.
I wonder who's been in there since, and if anyone's got any video footage of the place inside, or photos, or anything.
Records.
Yeah.
From what I understand, when you were deemed criminally insane, you never left there. I mean, we saw people that were chained down, had Hannibal Lecter type mask on them. They would go in and feed them, and they would pick them up with chain things and pulleys, pick them up, change everything, and they were that way till they die.
Wow.
Lynn M is asking, did they ever say what they fed him? I couldn't guess.
No, we asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so big. I said, "What are you feeding this boy?" Because he was so wide in the shoulders, it V-shaped, but in the arms, he was so muscular. I was thinking, I wonder where he works out. I was just making fun of him. I said, I wonder where he works out.
Yeah.
And I called it a humanal. because they said it was part human and part animal, saying it was a bestiality.
Wow.
But they just lied to us. I mean, they might have been told this to start with, and they might not even have known. They might just really believe the same thing they was telling us.
Yeah, it's probably hard to process anything else. Just there's got to be an explanation other than
This
that.
is interesting. Many were buried on the ground, so I wonder if there's a cemetery near. I mean, I don't imagine what they would have done if it passed away there.
Probably cremation.
There you go.
But I'm telling you something. This thing looked like it could take that door frame and everything off at that time. So if it got much bigger than what it was,
Oh yeah, it's gonna start opening up some unopenable things.
yeah. I mean, I wish I knew more about it. After what I saw, I would just wish I knew more of what happened. But you can't get any information. Like Daniela says, it might be a paper trail. I don't know. But there you go.
I euthanized it when they closed the hospital and cremated it. If I was a guessing guy.
Yeah, you wonder who of all the people that saw it, somebody may have talked to somebody else, and who knows?
Or they could have sent it to some kind of testing. I saw lately they have this female sitting there, and they got in a cage, and it turns and looks at you. I forgot the name. They already gave it a name, and it just turned around and looked at you. It was brown, but it sure did look.
I'm thinking now, this guy who showed you it, showing off to you. I wonder how many people he spoke to outside of work about this thing.
I don't know, but he wouldn't let us. He wouldn't even let us see the women, but he let us see that.
Yeah, he's obviously like sick in the head or something doing that. I mean, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told my kids about it. Well, I didn't tell my daughter. I told my two sons. But
what do you think your daughter would have said?
Oh, it would have
frightened her.
Oh yeah, she would. Yeah. She wouldn't have went outside again if I'd have known what it was and told them. But like I said, we just thought it was a one of a kind, and it was just there because there was nowhere else to put it. But the government did it, and they knew what they was doing. They might have wanted to save it for a little while till they took it somewhere else, because this is back when. Let's see, when did the Patterson Gimlin? That was in 67. So this wasn't too much longer after that. This was just about 6 years later, 7.
Just the whole logistics of it, though, moving it around from Florida to Mississippi, and then how do you contain? What do you put it in to move it around? How long does it take to get, to have it sedated or whatever to transport it? I mean, I don't know.
How do they test? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danielle.
I'm just saying. I mean, they could have put this thing at risk many times, just even doing what they're doing. Too much sedative or just whatever, just being shot for attacking someone. I mean, it's just crazy how they've got one.
Yeah.
Probably kept sedated, but you think, like we've said before, you don't know how much to give something. I mean, you can't just go out and tranquilize something without there being some risk.
Yeah. Like I said, he could fake it. He could get shot with something and fake being out. And when they go in there, I wouldn't want to be in there.
No.
Mm.
That's the most difficult thing to do when you're working with animals like that. Any wild animals is knocking them down.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I was going there with that, I would have to have the 50 caliber
Mm.
because it's like Kerry said. If that one coming to him, he knew he'd get off 3 shots, but he didn't know if it would stop it. Even if he was running and reloading, there could have been more around him too.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just took him out without him even knowing it. You know, when it boils down to it, these things can just creep up on people. I mean, I don't know. Roy Berkeley says, it's a good point. These drawings are so important to awareness. At least if you're in an encounter, these drawings might aid in giving your mind a familiar image to jump to and help in maybe lessen the shock. I think so. And I also think these are a really good, way of data collecting in some form of now we actually see what these things look like and not just hear the story, the encounter. And maybe it will help someone. We did have a really good guy on maybe a month or so ago who didn't believe about Bigfoot, but his brother had got him into watching our video, our stuff that we do, and he was made aware of it, and then goes out one day and sees one, and instead of feeling shocked, he's like, "Oh, I think that's what they've been talking about, this Bigfoot." And he had the presence to take his phone out and take a few pictures. I mean, he was calm because he was aware. It made a difference, him actually having a clue to what this thing is, to not, trying to work out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got something from Larry.
But you don't know how strong they are. I mean, back then they didn't know anything about them. They didn't know that they was out there breaking limbs, like breaking trees off 10 feet high, and like they're nothing, like they're a toothpick. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever they went in that cell, even if they tranquilized them, how they know? I mean, I don't know if anything ever did happen. They didn't tell us anything.
Well, I mean, it's a big secret, isn't it? Who would they be able to tell with anything? I mean, if someone had got killed by it, I mean, how are they going to disclose that?
That's it. It's a hell of a liability.
Yeah.
It would be like bringing the mastodon or the mammoth back. Something much larger than an African elephant. You see what kind of facilities they have to put up for them.
Right.
So they're going to build a mastodon or a mammoth because you don't have. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, and think about when an elephant does decide, hey, you know what? I'm not actually going to play along.
Well, it will throw you on the ground and do a headstand on you. That's how they kill you.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on a video.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. And Bigfoot, Sasquatch grabs you by the ankles and beats you up against a tree.
Yeah.
So that's what would happen if you went in that cell and.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be coming out of it, would you?
No,
it wouldn't be the little tin cup going across the bar.
No, it'd be brain tissue and skull fragments. I guarantee it.
So dark.
It would break your neck in a heartbeat. I mean, my gosh. That's why I always laugh, because people say, well, I'm looking for it. I said, are you sure you want to find this? Are you certain on that?
That's the reality, isn't it? The reality is this
people
thing.
Going out. That's good, guy.
Yeah.
And they go out at night.
Going out researchers. I wouldn't do that.
Well, and they go out at night. And that's really dumb.
Yeah,
because the Sasquatch owns a forest then. So it's dumb.
I mean, you're asking for it to kill you. There's a guy out in Canada, I think his name is Todd Standen.
Oh, yeah.
He said he's got, and I've seen some of the pictures. They don't look anything like, well, there's one of them sort of kind of did. I think he calls him Jake. A little bit like it, but in this one that Larry, you just drew, see, I didn't see him calm like that the whole time. His mad, just looking. It's hard to explain it. His whole face was contorted mad until the girls got up there. Then it was his eyes wide open and shocked look on his face, and they were passed out shocked.
I mean, this was definitely a male. You could
Yeah.
tell. You could
Oh
see
yeah,
it
I can tell
clearly.
you that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
what Carrie's talking about, maybe doing this again and show what he looked like, when he was doing that,
Hmm.
because his eyes was just wide open. You could see the whites on each side of his eyes at the time. Wasn't much, but you could see a little bit of white. But that's only when after he opened his eyes wide open.
Yeah, very.
Well, look, here we've got.
Hmm.
How's that look?
It looks like him.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yay.
that's
I'm
what we
telling
want.
you. But think of that face mad. I mean, really want to kill you mad.
Yeah.
Nose crunched up, his teeth, and
I don't want to see that. No, well, not in person. Oh, wow.
is
No,
that
there's some sort of similarity for me.
Yeah.
The eye sockets, the nose.
just a smaller ridge? What do you call it? Brow ridge?
Yes.
It thinned out like you got it. It looked
Mhm.
like that. They were more recessed, but that's the way it looked to me. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Wow.
Well, I might still work on this one a little bit.
Of course you will.
Definitely will. Larry does like to tweak these images. He
Well,
plays around with them.
To do a drawing like that, why would you do the one tonight an hour? I mean, that's people have no idea. I'm racing. I mean, it's
It's a lot to do. It's a
Yeah.
lot to do in the time that you do it. And then in your own time, you add a lot more depth to these images because it does take time, to do something like this for as long as Larry does. As anybody, you need to have a little break, wouldn't you, and step away from a piece of work if you're doing some painting or drawing like you do as well, Mark.
Mhm.
It's intense.
Yeah, there's a lot of processing time outside of when you're actually sitting in front of the paper where I often I'll take a picture of it like Larry does and on my phone, and then at work during the day I'll glance at it and like something doesn't look right, and then go back.
Yeah.
Have you ever
No.
drew a dog man?
Yeah,
We
we
have.
did.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that. That was a
I've
while
never
ago.
seen a picture
That
of
was
it.
Tex, right?
That was Tex, yeah.
He's from Texas.
Yep.
No.
Oh yeah, I guess he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry.
I do have it. Just give me 1 second. Should be a little more organised than this.
I am the
Tex
dog
actually
man.
saw it from the side, didn't he? And Larry tried to do a full-on face kind of rendition. Not that easy. I
Yeah, his was
guess.
across the road witnessing
Yeah.
profile.
I've never even seen a picture of one. I heard they have head like a dog or similar, and the legs are similar. I don't know.
Yeah, you hear that? Like they have hocks and not like big, Sasquatch legs. There's some really interesting accounts out there. Here we go.
But you and Carrie are doing a great job, Daniela, because if people go out there, if they don't carry a big bore gun with them,
That's not me.
Possibly tonight.
That's not me.
because you got to be prepared. At least you know something.
I guess it's the same with any animal. if you're going out, it's to be prepared, isn't it? Take some protection. We don't do it here. We don't need to, but just to be aware that there is something else out there that you won't be aware of, that you may never have been aware of. It does make a difference. I think it will make a difference to that person's experience, encounter. Because at the end of the day, this Bigfoot subject, it's been around for so long, and it's solid where it is. I mean, we've not really moved much further into knowing what this thing is. But amongst it all, are these people having encounters that have to deal with the reality of it, which is more important than discussing this creature sometimes, which is just at arm's length. We can't get to it, but we need to help those people who are actually experiencing it, and that's what it's about, really. Bigfoot's not going anywhere, but these people need help and support and somewhere to come to talk about it. Because I don't think Bigfoot's having a hard time about us. I doubt they're worried about what we think of them or anything. They're just getting on with their lives. And for some people, they can't get on with their lives because of these experiences. So, hopefully it does help people. I think it is doing.
Well, at least they're prepared. If they listen and watch, they have to be prepared.
Exactly.
Damien asked Larry, did you finish already? I'm so sorry, Damien.
You've done good tonight.
What happened? I don't know.
Just super fast, making up for the technical issues we had before we
yeah. Anybody would like to contribute to our animal family? Please.
The link is there at the bottom. Yeah. Everybody can see it. And also these little cute
oh my gosh,
Christmas decorations. There's a show us the Yeti.
Where's the Yeti?
Show us the Yeti. Katie G's already ordered a set of these, so
where's the Yeti?
It says
Larry?
12. Yeah, it says $12.
Oh, here it is.
But if you get two, I'm sure he's going to do it for $20.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh my god.
There's the Yeti.
The little abominable.
You can keep this one in captivity, okay? You don't have to worry how to handle it. So
those are so
cute. They didn't make enough money for me to try to handle that thing.
Well, I've got a story.
Oh, there's Dogman.
There's your Dogman, Bill.
Wow, that is completely different.
Yeah, it's very unusual. We need more. Actually, if anyone's seen a Dogman close up, get in touch. And that's the only Dogman image we've got.
That's Texas, and his was when he was he was young, right?
He was young, yeah. I don't know how old, but over 16 or something.
20 years ago, I think.
When he was 16. 20 years ago. Might be a little bit more than 16. Yeah. But we'll leave it there. Because he's my friend.
I was going to tell the story real quick. I have a good friend who... the one gentleman I talked about earlier with the chimp. And when he first got that chimp, he was a sheriff. And there was a call that a chimp had attacked a woman in Terre Haute, Indiana. And apparently she was keeping it in her basement in basically a big jail cell. And it got a hold of her one day and pretty good. So he hears that. He says, don't do anything till I get there. So he gets there as quickly as he can. He walks down in the basement. It's just filled with people. He says, everybody out. And the thing was going nuts. So he walks into its cage, but he carried a coal shovel with him. And as soon as this thing came over to kill him, he knocked it out. He thought he had killed it. So he's like, dang, I didn't want to do that. Well, it come to. Next thing they know, the two of them are walking out hand in hand out the front door. They get in his sheriff's car. The chimp sits in the passenger seat and he drives to his place because he had a facility for it. And he kept that chimp for years until he got married, and the chimp hated his wife, so he had to went to the Pittsburgh Zoo, and it bit a keeper's kneecap off. So that just kind of shows you what's your. But that chimp was so smart. He said it would mow the grass better than I could. All I had to do is mow the perimeter, and it'd do all the inside on a riding lawnmower. And it would get on that riding lawnmower and go down to the little filling station in town. And when they saw him coming in, they said, get him a quarter quick. And he'd get him a pop and sit on the couch. And they'd call the guy that owned it and says, are you missing someone? and he said, I'll be right there. He used to ride on his motorcycle, and he was going under 40 mile an hour, would beat on the tank. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
I saw a video not too long ago of a gorilla walking, standing straight up, and went over there and got on a bicycle and started riding around in the yard. A gorilla.
No, that's no big deal. No.
But when he comes to collect for the paper route, you better pay him.
Well, he'd take that. He also operated a petting zoo, and he'd take that chimp on these petting zoo jobs. Well, he got this young man to help him, and they were loading it up and getting ready to go somewhere. They're putting straw in the trailer, and the chimp's helping. He'd carry 2 bales. So the kid that was working for him saw him get in the camper. He said, what's he doing in there? So he opens up the door, and Sinbad, the chimp's name, he knew where the top was. And he said, Sinbad, are you supposed to have that? Sinbad turned around. He slammed that pop down on the counter, and he picked up a 2x4, and he nearly beat that poor kid to death.
Oh no!
and like he said, it took a long time to talk that kid into going with him on that petting zoo job after that.
So, and it did.
Michael Jackson, the singer, he had one, and he had to give it up. It was picking him up like he was nothing.
Oh,
Bubbles.
Yeah, Bubbles. Yeah, well, they're like that. I have a friend who was a chimp trainer, and he always kept a blackjack in his pocket and an electric deal in his pocket. Because here's what they do. Not to get off the subject, I see the post about the one that ripped the lady's face off, and that was true. But other male chimps, they want to disfigure the other males so they're not so pretty for the females, which consists of biting fingers off, ripping off one's face, just to make them not as attractive to the other female chimps. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
It's gross. It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Sounds logical, though.
It is. And they're so intelligent. I mean, like I said,
Just makes you wonder, doesn't it?
And they're not 6 feet tall or 7 feet tall.
Well, I've said the analysis, a major league ball player can throw a baseball 100 miles an hour. Can you imagine how hard and fast a Sasquatch, if it really wanted to, could throw a rock? I mean, let's go look for him. Let's go out in the woods and look for him. And let's go at night.
Let's turn the lights out first.
Yeah, total darkness. That's really, that makes sense.
We put them in a different category, don't we? I mean, not we, but people seem to put these things into a different category. The Sasquatch, when they could just be like any other wild animal out there with all the same instincts and everything, just one step ahead of us. But we kind of treat them a bit differently, don't we? Maybe we shouldn't. We should be as aware of them as everything else that's out there.
Even more so, because they will hunt in groups, and they do it intelligently. One will get your attention while 4 or 5 or more around you. I've heard that so many times now. And they'll throw these big boulders at boats, just boats. They'll throw these. I said if one of them was to throw a boulder at me in my boat, I'd just open fire. I won't even talk about it.
Right.
There's only one problem with that.
Then ask questions.
If you shoot at one, there's 3 or 4, like you said, that you don't see, and they will be on you so quick. They'd be on you so quick. It's like,
Well, there's a big motor on that boat. It can go fast.
It's
Yeah.
all about perception, isn't it, as well? When people might, I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying, people think that they're surrounded by them. Maybe they've just walked into, maybe they are always surrounded. Maybe you're always surrounded by them. Maybe that's just what they are because they're out there and always out there with others. And they're not surrounding you purposely, but it's just because that's the way they work. I mean, I don't know.
They're just there.
There's just,
We don't
there's
either.
just so much we don't know, and how much we've put our ideas on what we think they might do or might not do. Well, we'll never know the reasons why. But I always think it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not thinking that straight. But it's always good to kind of think how they think, rather than what we think they think, you know. So anyway, it is fascinating. I'm going to put up the drawing again, so everyone can have a good look. That is, you don't want to bump into that, do you?
I mean,
Nope.
you know, I was at that time when I was like I said, I'm 6'3", and I was 280 pounds, and I worked out, and I felt weak looking at that thing. I mean, his shoulders was like 4.5, a little more wide and V shaped, but and the arms look disproportionate. If you know what I mean,
Mm.
it's hard to explain it.
Long,
Yeah, but
short legs.
it was muscles, just
Yep.
pure muscle. I asked him, I said, are you feeding this thing high protein and high potent vitamins or what? They wouldn't tell you anything
Mhm.
because you couldn't get that big without.
There's just so much more to this story that we don't know. It feels like there's so much more to this.
Yeah.
How on earth you can keep something alive that you don't know what it needs? You know, it's
Everything we could experiment with them. I mean, they risked their lives doing that. You know, they had to be.
yeah.
And they would have had to have brought, even figuring out what it was, they would have had to have brought other people in from other professions, zoologists and other just people in the science community, just to look. I mean, when you got something that unexplainable, even it is human, think about if we knew there was a result of bestiality in captivity. I mean, that's a medical marvel.
I don't think there's any way that could happen. I swear. I don't.
Yeah.
Kerry,
Well,
he studied on. He checked it out, and he said he didn't think that was even possible. It's just what it is. It is just what it is.
But we only know that. That's what we know, but we don't know what the other side to it is. And maybe it is possible. It was possible with whatever was bred with. I mean, we don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? No, we think now it's impossible, but who knows what it bred with?
But
Who
if
knows
that,
what the
but even
side
if
to it is?
that's the explanation of what it was at the time, you'd want somebody to come in and have a look.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously you were one of those people, Bill, that came in and had a look, but I mean, somebody in the zoology or in the biology or human anatomy or whatever, they were like, somebody's got to help us figure this out.
I
Or it's
think the
just a-
government knows all about them.
Yeah,
They
it's
know
just a
where
flat
they're
cover
at.
story.
One of the
It's
research.
fascinating.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I heard one of the researchers talking about. I think it was a video of one of these. I think it was DeHenden or Green or somebody, and they were saying if they'd have just when this come out, when they had the video, the Patterson Gimlin, if they had just acknowledged them, I think from what I heard, they wouldn't have spread out and as abundant as they are now. At that time, they might have controlled it and, done something instead of just letting people go out there and not know what's out there.
Definitely. To think. Well, I'm going to put it up again. There's something strange going on, isn't there, that this thing isn't being acknowledged. And it's just too solid a thing to ignore.
It'd kill the tourism industry.
Logging, is what I heard.
Logging too. Well, the government has a plan that if there was ever a body or part of a body brought in and it was decided, this was it, that they would send the National Guard in, that area would be protected, which of course would kill the logging. That's why the Native Americans don't talk about them, because they're afraid of their land. That the like what happened with the owl out there, the spotted owl. Government went in, spotted owls were there, very rare bird, and the loggers couldn't log that area anymore. That's what they're afraid of, what happened with the Sasquatch. And that's what the Native Americans are afraid of.
You don't think our government would make American Indians leave some land?
Yeah, imagine that. I mean, yeah. So it's there's a lot of different. I predict, though, if it ever happened, it'd become very political. So.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Well, look, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, it's not. It's 2:30. It's 2:30. I was, exaggerating a little bit, but it's still late, and I've got work tomorrow. But thank you so much, Bill, for coming on and describing that.
Well, I appreciate it, Larry. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
It's just that when I seen him, he was always just mad. But that looks like me just chilling out.
I can draw him pissed off. I'll do that.
Well,
that's him during the quiet times between tours.
Oh, don't know who that is. It's Mark, I think. Yeah, it's Mark. I've just he's hit a button or something wrong. So thank you. Yeah, it's still going off, Mark. Thank you, Larry.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Everyone, obviously, if you want to donate, help Larry out with his animals. The link there, it's been there all night on the ticker below there. His email address, put that in PayPal. Order some of those little Christmas ornaments. They're really, really sweet. And I'm going to see you guys at the weekend at some point. Kerry's on tomorrow night. Oh, Kerry's on in and out in half an hour, I think, on Vault's show. I think you're still buzzing, Mark. Sorry.
Get a bad war.
I'm just going to mute you there. But Kerry will be here tomorrow for the late show. Once again, thanks, Bill, Larry, Mark, everyone in the chat. Have a good night. Have a good week. And I'll see you all soon.